You know what I mean? So
Yep.
we'll distract you with what you want you to see. There's a lot of fighting going on for power. You understand? We want to
Yep.
know because where do you get most of your items from? Just how China is attempting to separate from. No, you're not playing
No,
one.
it's the other way around.
No,
Taiwan.
no, no. But
Oh,
well,
I got
we're
what you're saying.
separating from China. But you say that China wants to separate from the United States.
Yeah.
They don't want. You will say that they don't want to, just because we'll say that they have get so much money from us. But China gets a lot of money without us as well, and they're quite advanced when it comes to technology, more
Yeah.
than what we give credit for. So it wouldn't be in America's best interest to separate from China.
Now, the thing that really gets me too is like, if China does overrun and take Taiwan, all right, like they did with Hong Kong, it's going to affect the economy of a lot of those countries around there, especially Australia. And I mentioned that before when you was off taking care of business, you know. But now, if it affects Australia in their economy, that in return is going to create a domino effect on the United States, because they're our closest ally, you know, in that area. You know what I mean? So
Australia.
I can see that as just being a reason why the United States would start that kind of
Beef.
propaganda, is what I'm really thinking. You know, that type of propaganda. And I don't know. It just seems odd that they want to push that agenda like they're pushing the stuff in the Ukraine.
There you go. Now, why do you think that war was? What do you think that war stemmed from?
It's a proxy war. What it is NATO, that organization that I was talking about.
So long from someone else. NATO. We learned a lot about NATO.
No. NATO has been wanting to get Ukraine into their little party. You know what I mean? And under the covers, you know what I'm saying? They've been negotiating with Ukraine about joining NATO and the EU.
Mm-hmm.
And all this time, Russia's been saying, we're not gonna have it. You're not going to have NATO that close to our borders. And besides, Ukraine is so closely tied to Russia that's insane to even think.
To cross them, right? Unless
Right.
you're hiding something that you like to maintain for your own self. Unless
Right.
you're
Well,
holding something.
Right.
And we are, and you know what really bothers me is that you keep your friends close and your enemies closer. America is the biggest example of this, because they'll stand publicly with one side while fighting for another cause.
Well, see, I found out. That's what I was trying to tell Ryder. Whenever it comes to Ag Day, all right, I watch Ag Day whenever I can in the mornings, and the reason why I do that is because if you pay attention to what's being said on there, you'll find out a lot of the real news, what's really going on. Like, I found out that 60% of the grain products in food comes from Ukraine. There's actually the problems we're having with food shortages right now is because of that war taking place. 60% of the world's food supply, when it comes to grains and stuff like that, has literally come to a stop.
And if I tell you that, and if 60% of your food supply type is coming from a certain area, are you not going to back me in saying support this cause, even if
Exactly. We're on the same page there. And Taiwan, all right. Taiwan has they're the ones who produce most of the electronics and the chips and all that stuff. That's where the majority of these computer components come from, and a lot of people aren't aware of that either. So
it's that shit on there. How can you not? It tells you made in Taiwan. I mean, like, how can you miss it?
How many people do you think actually take time to read stuff, though? being
That's why
honest.
no one can be upset when this stuff blows up in their face, because literally they're like dangling the dollar on a fishing pole right in front of everyone, and these people see this guy attached to this fishing pole and keep jumping at it. If you don't go knock the guy out with the fishing pole and stop trying to like that, there's your dollar. Why are you know what I'm saying? Like, they're showing you like you're going after the wrong target. It's not the dangling dollar. It's definitely the guy dangling it in your face. So it's just like, how can you, most high bless you, puppy? But how can you not even pay attention to what's happening around you and then act like so concerned? You're not. You just want to have something to talk about. You want to make it seem like you're cool and you're hip and you know what's going on. So you watch the news. The news is so full of nonsense. It's ridiculous. Then you get all these people who know absolutely nothing. I don't and see, that's mean and that's rude. Lord forgive me, because they know stuff, but it's just like they talk about it and they have no idea what's going on. And then when you teach them or you show them, you say, hey, this is where you find the answers. This is where you find out what's going on. They're in such complete denial that something like this could happen, because apparently the government has been tucking them in with a stuffy every single night. So they feel like, you know what I mean? I mean, for real, like, it could never happen. Not to my government. Like, are you kidding me right now? You really believe this? Like, how much do they pay you to believe in this? And it's just
All
like,
right.
my 401k and whatever crap, my retirement fund. You're gonna mess up my retirement fund. You're not gonna live to see retirement destroyed. Are you kidding me? They're going, and that's another thing. All those people that just disappeared long before they're able to access their disabilities and their Social Security and their retirement funds and stuff like that. What do you think happens to that money? That money doesn't just, oh, no one gets it. If the families do not claim it, and that's where your stocks and bonds come from. But when people start claiming their money, then they have no more. The government has less access to it. To make it unclaimable, we'll turn it into something you cannot touch, you cannot see, and now it's digital.
Okay, I've got it. This one, it's the Iranian underground missile bases. I'm going to read it to you and see what your take on this is. And I'll share the link to that in chat so that you have it. This one is actually pretty interesting. So, here, let me go ahead and read it. According to Iranian authorities, Iranian underground missile bases, or silos, also known as the Missile City, exists in all provinces and cities of Iran. The bases contain road mobile transporter erector launcher trucks, along with other hardware, and due to the lack of adequate ventilation could not be as far underground as claimed by Iranian sources. A video from one of the missile sites was released for the first time on October the 14th, 2015 by Brigadier General Amir Ali Hazazadeh, commander of Aerospace Force of the Army of the Guardians of the Islamic Revolution. This was just a few days after news of the testing of a new generation medium-range ballistic missile. The Imad was broadcast by the state media of Iran. Amir Ali Hazazadeh stated that Iranian missiles of varying ranges are ready to be launched from underground bases once Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei ordered to do so, adding that Iran created missiles based in all the provinces of the cities throughout the country at a depth of 500 meters. Bases were again displayed on TV on January 5th, 2016, amid heightened tensions with Saudi Arabia following the execution of Shiite cleric Namr al-Nimr. The second in command of the Revolutionary Guard boasted that Iran's depots and underground facilities were so full that it didn't know where to store new missiles. The release of the footage of the Iranian underground missile bases provided the situation for the lawmakers to show that the July nuclear deal had not weakened the military of Iran, and it was a show of strength by Iran in response to the Western powers, especially the U.S., speaking of military options against Iran in spite of the nuclear deal, according to The Guardian. Hajizadeh said that Iran was not seeking to start a war, but if enemies make a mistake, missile bases will erupt like a volcano from the depth of Earth. According to Al-Imbar, a senior Israeli defense expert, the head of the Space Research Center at the Fisher Institute for Air and Space Strategic Studies in Herzliya, this missile base enables the Islamic Republic to store and covertly fire surface-to-surface missiles. He describes the underground facility, whose location is unknown, as a complex system of enormous tunnels. He also added that those bases could be used by Iran for a surprise barrage missile attack. So what's your thoughts on that?
I was looking in regards to like allies and just if Iran is an ally of Palestine and it is secured in Asia, and if the government is siding with Israel, presenting ongoing, ever is deployed, like I feel like there are American missiles underground. Like we're not siding with who we forefrontedly side with. Like it's like we're telling you this is our team, and it's not our team. Like people think America sides with, and I don't like. It's all staged. So with it all being staged and everything is just waiting to literally glow, them having missiles that can explode from underground are not surprising to me. This has been something that has happened. They've had that for a long time, but having a military base full of it, I feel like it's just training in order for it to be able to be constructed elsewhere. And like just think about different scenarios where how much do you know about being the flagger on the street? And then okay, how much do you think those flaggers know about the stuff that they're putting? They're told to lay these pipes, and this is how they lay them. They're not told what's in the pipes. They're not told what are in the irrigation system. They're just told to construct it. The same with the scientists. When I was listening to someone speak about the vaccine, and they were saying about how each scientist in each different laboratory were given different components of the vaccine to work on, so that way that they would not question it being put together. And by the time they were made aware of what it was going to be used for and what was happening, it was too late. Which to me is pretty much what's going on. We have little different components going on.